Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the new PBE podcast, Interstate 5.
Hello, everybody,
Yes, this is Evok,
and TDZ.
and we're already a cast on the SHL League, where we do now bi-weekly podcast, and we wanted to create one as well on PBE in order to gain money for training and what's not. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do now. So normally how the podcast goes is that we answer questions, mostly. We actually love to answer questions and discuss about what you guys ask and everything. And after that, if time needs or if we're free, we're gonna fill with random subject at the end.
Yep.
So let's get started with questions. So the first up is Casey Colby with the following question: Pitcher success and how archetype and TP correlate.
Yeah.
So I already have to go Google a wall because I'm not sure what correlate mean exactly. So
How they go together,
yeah.
basically.
Well, I mean, in any league, TP and archetype correlate for success because if you don't gain TP, you're not gonna do shit. That's pretty much how user sim league works. So for that extent, they go pretty well together. Pitcher success will be actually quite interesting to see at first, for the reason that I don't even know to what extent the archetype and TP and everything have been tested. I'm saying that I'm in the head office, so that's actually quite bad to say, but it's actually true. So that's gonna be interesting to see on the long run what is actually a good archetype to have as a pitcher.
Yeah. I'll preface this and say that I haven't looked at everybody's archetypes completely, especially compared to how they're doing so far in the league. With school being as busy as it is lately, I had barely enough time to see how my player was doing in the standings, and then didn't really dig through everything completely yet. Planned on doing that next week when everything calmed down a little bit. But from my understanding with just the Scorpions, some of our pitching leaders have been more finesse pitching.
Yeah, well, I think so far there's also a lot of finesse pitcher overall.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how many created a power pitcher even. I think there was 2 at the initial draft or something like that. That was crazy, crazy low. There was more balanced pitcher than power, and most of them were finesse.
Yeah, our two top pitchers, the one's a knuckleball pitcher, the other one's his top pitch is a sinker, the third one his top pitch is a curveball. So it seems to be starting wise, the more finesse pitching is doing a little bit better, especially with the knucklers, which is surprising because in real life those are very hit or miss. There's very few good ones, or very few in general, really.
Well, yeah, it's just because knuckle pitch takes so much time to actually develop properly that in real life sometimes it's better not investing time on that.
Yeah. All right. So top pitcher in the league, their top pitch is a curveball. Their fastball is their weakest pitch. At least top pitcher by ERA.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And then you're the top in wins, and your top pitch is a sinker, and your fastball is your weakest.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna work on that. I'll be honest. It's actually quite low, and that's probably what I'm gonna put TP next.
Yeah,
But
it's an interesting correlation. Yeah, here's another knuckleballer who's up there. So a lot of knuckleballers up in the top, and
well, in my opinion, Knuckleballer will do good early in the league because all the hitter are also like really weak. So if they face like a knuckleball is already a hard pitch, and if you're already weak, and even if the pitcher is not the best as his knuckleball, you're still gonna have trouble. So I would not be surprised to see them like be quite good early, but at the same time, I remember there was a few good game for knuckleballer, but in the second sim already, they started to have it rough.
yeah, and I think as the hitters start to even out, that'll help a little bit. I don't know the art like the way the hitters TPE is spent because I never looked at it because I wanted to be a pitcher from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a way that they get like better hits against knuckleballers in general.
No, they have to work like how it's actually done for hitter. Like they don't have anything against certain pitches. They just have like overall stat.
Yeah, power,
eye patience.
Yeah, avoiding Ks, all that. Okay, yeah. So, I think, didn't the pitchers start with more TPE anyways as well?
Yes.
So,
well,
yeah.
No.
Well.
But yes.
They started with 100 to spend on less attributes, where the batters had to split it.
They have 50-50 in batting and fielding. But also, one of the main TP sync for pitchers is actually the velocity of their pitch. Yes, you're gonna start with more, but if you want to be a good pitcher early, you're gonna have to spend on that as well. So, that changed a bit the Dawn. But I can't wait to see how it's gonna develop with TPE. See what other pitcher will put TPE in, and what will be the big difference between a closer and a starting pitcher, because we also don't have relief pitcher right now. It's only starting pitcher that you're gonna play as relief pitchers.
Well, it depends. Like in Death Valley, we actually have quite a few relief pitchers, so I'm playing long relief right now. I haven't pitched but one game because our starters have actually been going deep right now. Okay. But I can come in if need be.
So they play the closing pitcher as relief as well.
Yeah, and I upped my stamina and maxed it out as a power closer. And it works pretty well in the preseason sims or the spring training sims. I had like the second highest or third highest ERA. I think it was third highest.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And pitched like the third most innings. So it's a good thing there. We just got to figure out how to get me in more, I think, for those long relief. But if our starting pitchers are going long enough that they don't need it, then I'm not complaining.
That's true, because like if the starting pitcher is doing good, well, I mean that's going well then.
Yeah, as long as we're winning, I'm not complaining. I have literally 0.2 innings pitched so far.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Alrighty. And we got AgeWire. Who do you think the best team after the draft, or is the best team after the draft?
That's hard to say. Before the bots were added to the sim, that was Vancouver by far.
Yeah.
As soon as the bots were added to the sim, we started to have it rougher. And like I know you guys are you guys top at the league, or you're top of the
We're top of the league.
Yeah.
Well, no, never mind. Well, let's see here. We have more wins, but we have more games played than New York, so our percentage is lower. So I guess technically we're top, but they have games in hand. So
Yeah. Um, but I know you also face it like the Bulldog quite
yeah, a
a
lot.
few game. So that's why I'm hesitant to say it's also you. You're a good team. That's like you will be good. But is it the best team in the league? That's something else.
Probably not.
So
Yeah, so we'll see. I think Vancouver probably is still going to come out as one of the stronger teams. Obviously, New York's been up there. Um, this was asked before the regular season started or right after the first sim, I think. So if we're going off then I probably would have still said Vancouver. We'll see how it goes throughout the season, though, because
yeah,
Outer Banks is playing better than I expected them to.
that as well. Yeah, like they do have like we have the same amount of win, but they do have more game than us. So because right now the standing for those who are listening are in percentage of win. New York, Dead Valley Scorpions, Vancouver, Outer Bank, the Bulldog, and the Crabs. Oh, the Crabs are actually doing not too well. That's interesting to see. I would have expected them to be slightly better.
Yeah, I thought the Crabs would have been a little bit better. The Bulldogs, I thought before they would have been better, but everybody thought they were going to be bad, and they're at the not at the bottom, but down there, but still close. So it's not like they're doing terrible.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's for sure.
I guess people saw it differently than I did. It's a long season though, so we'll see how this all goes.
Yeah, we're not even like I think we're 14 games on an 100 in, so it's quite early.
Yeah, some teams at like 14, 15. Us in Berkeley at 17.
Yeah, like you say, the game that the team that played little less, I think, is 14. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, the next question is: any early awards winner, or is it too early? I'll be
Oof.
honest. To be really really honest, I don't know any award in baseball.
Well, it's probably going to be like, you're going to get your batters that have what is it?
Okay, let me
Whoever
go.
has like the highest average.
What's the
And
name of the league? The like real life league?
MLB.
MLB. Okay, thank you. MLB awards. All
Yeah,
right.
so hitting wise, you have like, most of the best average. I don't remember all the awards for that. You get a lot of Golden Glove awards for fielding as well, so I don't know if they're going to do that here.
So individual awards, you have the MVP. That's gonna be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Um, who could be the MVP? That's way too early in the season to say that.
I think it's a little early on hitters, especially, and MVP usually goes to a hitter. I don't know if it will here. In MLB, it usually does.
Yeah.
Not always,
Well,
but
like to an extent, like the best pitcher also have like also an award. So
yeah. See, with the hitting, you have so many people over 400, and that's going to average out
yeah, as a
a
season
lot.
go.
Yeah, they're not going to stay up there,
Or if they do, they're really good.
and then they deserve it. But I don't think that all of them will stay up there, and we'll see it definitely average out. And the hitting is gonna. Some hitters are going to get cold streaks, and some are going to get hot, and we'll see that kind of all this average out. I think it's way too early to pick any awards for the hitting side. Fielding, I don't even know how to look at that in here, so I'm not even going to go into it. If they even do that. Pitching wise, It's going to go to the best pitchers on the best teams because they're going to get the most wins, like you and I think LaLocke
Yeah,
over for
well,
New
there's
York.
already many players with wins. Like to an extent, you can see, and New York Valley have two pitcher at 3 wins in like that we can see in the top five. I don't know if there's more because it's totally possible. It's not displaying me more than five.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, New York has Laloc and Sinclair. After that, the Aviators have also Livin, and Dead Valley, you guys have Jackson.
yeah. I think like LaLocke would be a good one. You see him up there with 3 wins and already the lowest ERA.
Yeah.
He's going to get dinged around a couple games though, so that's going to go up. Everybody's going to get dinged around a couple games.
Yeah, so that's also going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's still a little early, but if I had to pick, it would be LaLocque so far. I think New York's going to continue to be a strong team.
Yeah.
And I think he's their best pitcher by far, so he's going to continue to carry them. Other than that, I don't know.
Well, there's a reliever of the year. There is also. I really don't know.
The reliever will be interesting because Vancouver's has already got 6, and it's going to be helpful for them when they're leading a lot. Y'all are always up and winning a lot of games, so the closers get to come in and win a lot of games. So that one might get carried away with, especially if teams are trying to figure out who the closer is early and stuff like that.
There's just so many awards. What the hell?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Well, it's because they gave one to every position. Like they give one for the like fielding and one for the batting, as far as I understand. They have the Gold Glove and the Silver Slugger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually quite interesting. So you could, well, at the same time, I think it's also really nice that like no matter where you play, you also have a chance to get an award. So at least there's that. But I have no idea how to check for like, for example, the Gold Glove. I have no.
Yeah. I think you can see fielding if you go to individual players. Maybe.
Yeah, because the stats, the batting leaderboard, they don't have a fielding leaderboard, so it's like, yeah, I have no clue what it's gonna be.
Yeah, there's like fielding, so you got the games, the putouts, assists, double plays, all that kind of stuff. So there's ways to look at it, but there's no way in the leaderboard to look at it. So that's going to be a pain if they do that.
That's actually true. Oh my god.
They'd have to go through every player.
Well, you probably have at this point for that, they would probably go in the engine right away, like the OTP.
Yeah, they can probably view it in there a lot easier.
Like that's what I would do, because like going through this, like the index is really really nice looking, but it's not something I would use for a word. Like no shit.
Yeah, I mean, only showing the top 5, and that's fine because it would be so like overbearing and just cluttered if it had more. So yeah. I think it works how it is, but it's just really hard to view the things you need to for the awards that way, especially for the fielding. But what they probably see in the OTP is, or whatever it is a lot more detailed.
Oh yeah, by far. So like even here I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, where can I find this information, because I have no clue.
Yeah. All right. Next up is thoughts on all the turmoil that happened early on in the league.
My thought, it was really rough because I was here early to help the league, earlier than a lot of people, and it was rough. Like, there's no other way to put it. I'm glad most of it is behind us right now. There's still a lot of shit to work on, and that's probably gonna be true for a few seasons. But we managed to launch it. Like there was a point last week, no, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, that I was not even sure we would actually be able to fucking sim a season. So I'm quite happy we managed to do it.
Yeah, I'm happy with how it is now. I think it's up and running now, but I think it was launched too early.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like I think you can task anyone, and it's like it was launched too early.
Yeah, I think the excitement of having something finally in stone, and it's like, oh god, this is actually awesome. Let's get it up, and didn't plan shit through. And it was nice because you saw the just sheer amount of people that signed up in the first few days. But then we're sitting around, and they're like, oh, now we're changing this. We don't know when the season's starting. Now we're changing archetypes after you've already created your players and we've approved them.
Yeah,
and then on top of that, the updaters don't update the fucking pages.
Yeah, like the archetype change was actually really, really awful. Like,
yeah,
it was the worst thing ever. Like, I understand it's needed, but man, is it hard to deal with.
Yeah, and like the updaters are supposed to change our player pages. My player page is still the original stuff, even though I put it in there to change it. All of Death Valley is.
You have until the 3rd to change it. Like, so for right now, I can see that there's probably some few players that are not changed. In case you guys want to change it too. So, but it's gonna have to be sorted out for everyone.
Well, I mean, like our entire team. Nobody's been changed over, even though we've all put in our updates. Like, okay, we're doing this for our archetype changes.
Yeah, fun time.
So I think the league's up and running now. It's fine. So it's good. It was definitely launched too early. If they would have pushed it back about 2 weeks, even, they could have got a lot of this taken care of.
The main thing is that most of the jobs were not even filled. There was nothing in place for updating. The only thing that I know on the back end was up and running properly was the bank, because I made it. Like, everything else was not really started. Like, the player archetype were done, but for example, the file and the league creation in OTP, I'm not even sure that was started at the time they launched the website. Like, it's not hard. They had the team. They could have just created an empty league for now, and yada yada yada. And the updating system, nothing was created when it even launched. Like, what would have you do if you didn't find a head updater? Like, if no one would have applied for head updater, what would have happened? That's a position you need to fill before launching a league, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. And then you have people that have been throwing hissy fits and leaving. It's just, I think starting from the top down, there's been a lot of problems. It's mostly worked out now, and I haven't seen anything. I avoid the Discord because it's too active. It's the same reason I avoid most of the major leagues' Discords overall, because I don't have time to sit there and keep up with that all day. And on top of that, I just get tagged a ton.
Yeah, one of the other early problem with the league was that GM felt they were not consulted for stuff, but everything was happening in Discord, and it was actually just really hard to get everyone's opinion on stuff. And now we're using the forums. We're telling GMs, hey, we put some new stuff. Go look and go comment there, and not on Discord, because on Discord, people say something, and then some people a bit later someone says something else, and then people forget that one person says something first, and it was messy. So the forum is the way to go for discussion of important matter. And that's pretty much all I learned from this experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing in SHL. You know, it got off and running because it was on the forums for what, 30 seasons, 20 something seasons,
Yeah, the
and
one
then
with
Discord's
Discord.
kind of come in lately. And while it's a great tool, it's also good to have that balance. You can't rely heavily on. I think one or the other. I think that it'd still work on the forums, but it can be a little boring
Oh yeah,
at
for
times.
sure.
So if you get that right balance where you're talking in Discord, but you're also on the forums a lot, then it's very nice. My problem has been I've been too busy to be on the forums as much lately. The only time I've been on the site lately is to check stats and then get the fantasy done because I want to get that done and not get skipped,
Yeah.
which I got skipped once.
Oh, already? Oh. Yeah, I have to
Yeah, like
take
the
my
first
pick.
pick.
Oh, really? No.
I didn't know it was up and never got on the site in like a day or
Okay.
over a day. And then like it got skipped and then Beaver, who was actually after me, messaged me and he was like, hey, you know, I'm next, but I'll go ahead and let you pick. And I was like, oh shit, I
Oh,
didn't even know I was
PvE.
supposed to
Okay,
be
okay, okay.
picking.
PvE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like I have Beaver as well, and he's usually the one I poke and be like, dude, pick. But at least on PvE, the real thing I love about it, I'll be honest, and I enjoy the fact it's not a TP fantasy league. Uh,
Yeah, once he told me that, I stopped caring too. Now I'm just picking random players.
like I still want to pick kind of good player for the extent that it's still money that I will get at the end of the season. That mean I will have to do less stuff next season. But it's like, well, if I'm not winning, I won't really care, to be honest. It's like I would enjoy, but it's not that important.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying because I want the money, obviously.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good. That's it.
but I'm like half-ass trying. I'm not going through and digging through all these stats and being like, oh, this is definitely better than this one. I'm like, this one's pretty good. He's up there in stats. Let's choose him. I'm not like trying to dig and find something better like I would normally. I'm like, they're doing good so far. Let's take a flyer on them, see what happens, and we'll let it go. All right, and our last question is why Interstate 5 and where is that anyway? And this is
So
what you came up with.
yes, so I'm happy someone asked, because well, if I had saw no one ask, I would have explained it anyway. So Interstate 5 is highway. I was searching the English term, crossing the west coast of the U.S. And basically, the reason I picked it is because it's a bit the same way that me and TDZ had on SHL, where we took a name that was fitting both of our team. So, for example, I was in the Halifax Raider, which like Raiders ship and everything, and TDZ was in the Scarecrows. Uh, and we came up with the Crow's Nest, which is the platform at the top of the boat where people can see like what's coming up. I don't know how it's called in English.
It's like a spotter.
Yeah, a spotter. Okay, so that's it with me. So that it was a platform where the spotter can go and like spot the ship. Um, so it was fitting both the fact that I was a raider and it was a crow. So Interstate 5 is basically the road you would take for a big chunk of travel if you want to go from Vancouver to Death Valley. And this is where the name came from.
Yep. You check the map, it goes straight from the heart of Vancouver all the way down, and it's like 20 or 30 miles west of Death Valley. So it would do most of the travel, and you'd have less than an hour to get to Death Valley once you got off of that interstate.
Yeah. It was that, or there was another one as well, but another road. But I thought like Interstate 5 is actually quite a good name, so I was like, okay, that's fine by me.
Works for me.
It makes me think of one of Daft Punk album actually. Well, the movie they made, so I think it's also nice fitting because I liked it.
What
Uh,
movie is that?
Which movies? Move
I
Cap.
know they did the music for Tron.
Yeah. It was one of their album that they made a movie for it.
Huh.
Daft Punk movie.
Like, I don't
It's
mind Daft Punk, but I just
Interstellar.
never listened to them. Oh.
Interstellar 5555. So the story of the secret 5-star system.
Interesting. I have to check that out.
I liked it. Like, it's a bit in the Pink Floyd style movie.
Ooh, maybe not then.
No, you don't like it? Well, I mean, it's not
Uh,
a different type. Like, it's a different type of like music. So, but
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll check it out. All right, next up is Berserk. I don't know.
Zercap. I just call him Zercap. So.
Yep. How do you want to build your pitcher?
So this is actually a good question since you're also a pitcher. Else we would have to adapt it.
Yep.
Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I can start. I mean, I want to be a power pitcher because I just like power closers. So eventually I'm going to try and get that velocity maxed out. But I'm trying to work on my control a little bit. I've been working on that a lot, actually. So I'm just not throwing wild pitches. Eventually, hopefully, if I get a large amount of TPE, because just how much it costs to move up velocity, then I'll move it up, or I'll have to start saving. Off season might be a good opportunity for that. But I just want to be like one of the hardest throwing closers, and actually have a closing role eventually. I don't mind doing the relief now because it's early and nobody's really standing out, but I plan to make my players stand out, and I want to be a closer.
Yeah, that's for me. It's actually quite interesting how I build it right now. Because I'm a southpaw, which means I throw with the left hand, and the majority of the league right now is playing on the is batting on the right side for me.
Yeah.
Because all the switch are playing on the right side. And I think it was something actually quite crazy, like 75% or something like that. Like at first it was I was trying to keep it hidden, but with some analytic people in the league that didn't stay secret for long. So it's actually a huge advantage to be a left-handed pitcher right now, which I think is fairly split in the league. I think it was like 50-50% both hand for pitcher. But right now I'm building really heavily on like controlling the right-handed batters, as well as the movement, and I'm also leveling the velocity right now.
Yeah.
Like this is something I actually have quite low for a pitcher. I have like 84 to 86 mile per hour, which is quite low. So I'm gonna work on that, as well as leveling the fastball, probably around 50 by the end of this season, if it's not higher. So that's how I want my pitcher for this season. On the long run, I mean, my goal is to max everything. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
And
hide it.
that's a question coming up, actually, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
uh,
Do you
which
believe
one?
the ERA? Oh, from Juoso. Or
Oh, okay,
Juosu.
okay.
Next question is, do you believe the ERAs will stay this high or start to lower as pitchers figure out what works in field or start having to put a little more TPE into fielding skills? I think it nails it pretty much dead on, plus the fact that, these pitchers are just getting more TPE in general. So they're going to start to be able to up their stuff instead of starting out a little bit lower, and these batters went all in for home runs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants that glory.
Well, and I know there was a lot of power pitcher. Like, for example, I did updates for Baker League, like the Bulldogs, for 2 weeks now. And they have a lot of power hitter. Like, I'm like, why did everyone create a power hitter?
And that's the same thing as they want that glory, the home runs,
Yeah.
the doubles, the triples, the slugging.
So, in my opinion, the league will really even out as season goes. Uh, not now, and that's the sad reality of Sim League, especially a Sim League where you have something where you have two set of team with different like stat. It's not like a hockey team or where every player is a hockey player. Um, on baseball, you have really focus on defense and batting. So as soon as like a team focus more on one of those sides, like score will explode or like just not exist.
Yeah.
While on a hockey team, like you have a lot of players playing a short amount of time per day, and like well you still have three forward, two defensemen, and a goalie on the ice at all time. So it kind of even out for that. Or even then, actually, I think I'm pretty sure I would not be surprised that early in hockey leagues, goalie get lit up because they don't have the same advantage. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
And it really depends. There's a lot of stats here for the batters to go into, and they load it up into those power stats, and they're going to have to split it up eventually if they want to be a good all-around player, or otherwise they're going to be jokes on the field. And I've seen plenty of errors already happened.
yeah,
We beat Berkeley in a game because of an error.
yeah. I think you won the first game because of that.
I don't know. It was one of those first two or three because I only watched like two of them, and it was like a deep hit out into the outfield, and one of them dropped it.
Yeah.
And then we scored a couple runs, got the lead, and then won, and it was late. So I think these fielding stats are going to have to start going up if people want to be better all-around players. Otherwise, they're just going to be hitting a bunch, and they're going to have to rely on their offense to win, but good luck on your fielding.
That's pretty much it.
You can't outscore people every game. Even if your pitchers are doing well, if your dudes are dropping the ball and can't throw for shit, can't get double plays, you're not helping anything. So I think the ERAs will start to calm down a little bit, but we'll see how bad they get lit up in the beginning and how much they have to recover from.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of the thing. Like, it's hard to say right now because everything will depend.
Yeah.
On how the league progress.
And who knows who stays active, who doesn't stay active. Like, you look through some of the rosters. Like, I was looking for a player for one of the questions a little bit, and there's so many 100 TPE players.
Yeah, that's true.
That haven't updated, and their names I recognize on some of them. So, depends who's active, who's not, which teams got lucky with the people that stay active. There's a lot of variables. But in my belief, I think the ERA will go down. All right. What's your predictions for the season and why?
Blah. I think we covered a bit that.
Yeah, a little bit.
To recap, I think we were saying that, like, it's pretty much, like, I don't know who's going to be the best team. I'll be honest. Who's going to be the team that struggle right now? It could be possible it stay like this, but I'm pretty sure Bakerly will not do as great. And the Crab also have a lot of difficulties right now.
Yeah. I gotta agree. It's really hard to choose. I think, between the Aviators and Voyagers, either one of them could take it. And while the Vandals, I think, should beat us out, y'all should win. We're playing good right now, so we'll see what happens.
But in all the case, what will happen, no matter who finish, it's always going to be the two best teams going to go.
Yeah,
in playoff,
and
no
that's what
matter
I'm
where they
saying
are.
is it's those four teams I think that are going to be battling. I think Berkeley and Providence probably won't be battling for that playoff spot in their respective divisions. I think the Vandals will probably eke out the Scorpions. I think the Voyagers win over the Aviators too. So I think the Voyagers stay where they're at. The Vandals and Scorpions switch, and then championship wise, I don't know. That could go either way.
Yeah,
We'll
like
see at that point.
It's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, it's a long season. I can't be like, oh yeah, they're gonna win for sure now, and then you look at TPE later and be like, oh well, obviously this team's more dominant now.
Yeah, like for example, like I know the Vandals are still in the lead and TP updated, like in old league. Uh, so just because of that, like it can make a big difference down the road.
Yeah, and we've had struggles with pitching, but almost all of our pitchers are active. So it'll be interesting to see if we continue to struggle or if we finally find that sweet spot and we calm down. And it could lead back to the other question is with the hitting. So that might be why our starting pitching is struggling a little bit. Though we have a couple good ones, but then we have some that are meh. But if it's my predictions, I'm going to go with the Voyagers and Vandals. And it's going to be, I think both of them are close ones. I think Providence and the Bulldogs end up getting the beatings.
Yeah, like in my opinion, it could be either way. Oh man, it's so hard. Like they're all so close.
And again, it depends who updates, because like Berkeley could start updating their fielding a little bit better and, even out some of their TPE in a little ways, and it starts to look a little bit better.
Yeah, so like I don't know. It's the first season, man. Those questions are so hard.
Yeah. All right. And last question from him is, I say Pris might be the biggest steal in this draft. What are your thoughts on her and what she can accomplish in the PBE?
Well,
I had to find her player because I had no idea what her player was. I knew it was a closer, but I didn't remember the name. And it's Mikhail Martinez.
Yes.
And she plays for Outer Banks.
Yes, she plays with Evans.
Go figure. And he's saying steal, and I have no idea where she went in the draft.
She went late, I'm pretty sure.
Round 10.
Yeah, she went late. In my opinion, she can actually accomplish a lot of things. I don't see her, however, be as active as like those who know her on SHL. I don't see her being as active here as she was there, as she is there. But she, like, I made sure and I checked what she did so far, and she did do the PTs. I was like, she told me she wasn't gonna be active.
Yeah, I don't think she has it in her to miss the PTs, so she'll definitely do those. I don't see her doing media though, because I don't see her do media in SHL, and she relies on her contracts and her jobs to get her money, and she has none here. So I don't think she's going to be buying equipment, which is going to lag her behind a little bit. Like I bought one piece so far. I should have enough money coming up that I can buy another, hopefully. But and I think a lot of closers have jobs so they can buy stuff, and they're going to start to kind of pull away from her. But in the 10th round, that value's there.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you can find someone who's even just doing the PTs and trying to do as much like training that they can. Let's say she even just do the 500k training. That's actually something really valuable in the 10th round.
Yeah.
Like, I would be really happy to find someone like that.
Yeah, staying active is the biggest thing. You don't have to be like top TPE earner, but if you're active and you're buying the training, you're doing the PTs, that's enough TPE every season that you're at least going to be a decent player, especially starting off this early where nobody's going to be like just leagues ahead. It's not like SHL where you're coming in and being like, oh, you're you're getting everything, but you're not top of the. You can't afford equipment every season and all this, and all of a sudden you're like 500 TP coming in, and these people have 1,500, 2,000, and you're gonna get stomped until you get higher. But here, because it's just starting, it's very nice because there's no coming in and just immediately getting thrown to the wolves. You get to kind of.
And this is also going to be a league where money will be also easier with contract.
Yeah.
So this is actually going to be really interesting down the road to see how it will actually affect players and equipment and training and everything if you can get better contract down the road. Like having a 10 million contract might be something you see often, like later on. So that's gonna be nice to
Yeah,
follow
not
up.
many now though. Goonie got like 7 or 8.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, it's like, okay, yeah, I get, like, we still have only 60 million, I think, in soft cap. So giving it 10 million is actually really hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, even as a closer, I think I got 4.5 this season or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and mix that with bank pay that I need to actually do tonight. And tonight or tomorrow, one of the two.
That's something nice to say in front of your boss, like, oh yeah, by the way, I need to do my job.
Yeah. I mean, you said once a week. It's only been 10 days. I did it once last week, and I'll do it once this week.
Yeah, like once a week or so is fine.
It's just busy.
Yeah, like draft, like SHL draft and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I had that paper to write on top of all kinds of other crap, and then SHL draft, and had to scout for that, and then turn around and deal with the Reddit draft with mentoring everybody, and then scouting for that. And
also IHF somewhere in this.
Yeah, though I haven't had to change the lines on that, thank God.
Man, at this point, we don't fix what's not broken.
We tested them, and what I made just on a whim ended up coming back best, so.
Yeah, like, at first we were like, yeah, that's not convincing. And then it's like, well, we're not touching it anymore.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what I find the funniest, though? Germany did line change before the match.
I know. He changed it every day. Like, every
really?
single day he changed something. I don't understand why.
Like, I mean, for us, it's like, oh, not gonna fix what's not broken.
Yeah, I mean, unless you were testing something and this was working for you, but I'm not tinkering with it if we're winning.
Yeah, so it went well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back on.
Back to baseball.
Back to baseball, yes.
I think we covered Berserk Caps.
Yes.
So on to Juosu, or however you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I butchered
Julian
that.
O'Sullivan. So
yeah, I
Juosu.
figured.
That's how I pronounce it. If she pronounces it differently, she's probably gonna tell me.
Yeah, just let us know. Ireland chat, baseball chat, I don't care. Rookie chat, whatever. So what are your goals long term? And this is the question I was talking about.
Yes. So yeah, my goal long term will be to. I'm a TP whore. That's not something secret anymore. And my goal will be to build the best pitcher in the league. If it's not in the league, I'm fairly hoping I will be the best pitcher for a while in Vancouver's history. I know that I'm able to do it. I just need this league to stay alive. Which is good. I'm not saying that because I'm scared anymore. I'm making jokes about the early days.
Long term for me, I want to be a dominant closer, but at the same time, there will be PTs I miss. Like I said, I missed one already, the long one, because of my busyness. And if school starts backing me up again, I don't think it will as much next semester, thank God, because I have easier classes. But if it does, then it can, again, make me possibly miss. And I have to – it just depends how everything lines up. So I wouldn't say that I want to be like the best closer or even want to be the best closer. I just want to be effective and win some championships. Um, to me, I'd rather have rings and trophies all day. So that's all I want is to win. And that's more of a team thing than me.
Nah, it's all me. Well, to an extent, as a starting pitcher, it's mostly you. Like, I don't want to sound like uh, egoistic, selfish.
Conceited.
Yeah, but when baseball is like when a pitcher is pitching, like he's still like pretty much dueling the batters. So you have to rely on teammate and defense, but it's also a big one-on-one. So you kind of have to be personally good. So I don't want to sound egoistic. I still love you all, Vancouver, but I also want to be the best myself.
Yeah. I want to, but I don't think I will. And like you're gonna TP horde up here. I spend all my time on SHL, and this is like a side league.
Yeah,
So
like
I'm not gonna just go inactive here. I very much enjoy this more than NSFL so far. So unlike NSFL where I retired and left, probably won't do that here. I just might miss a PT here and there. I won't miss training. I got money to at least train and buy some of the equipment, so I'll be good there. It's just there'll be a little bit here and there that I'll miss it, and I'll be second tier probably TPE, maybe third tier, high that. I don't know what tier system we use, but I won't be the tops, but I won't be the bottom.
that sounds pretty good. Like as soon as you can like tell your team like I'm gonna do most of this stuff, like that's actually already really good. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do everything and then miss it and then try and
like
cover it up.
You're gonna be that like underrated player, the most underrated player.
Sort of, but then it goes into our next question is, what do you think about when you were taken in the draft? And I think I was taken too early.
Oh, really?
I was the first closer off the board.
What round?
4. And I don't think I should have been. I mean, if you would have put me like round 6 or 7, it would probably be about where I thought I would go. Maybe 7. Yeah, I think 7. 7's about where I thought I would go, and 7's about where I expected should have went, in my opinion. But Death Valley saw something they liked, I guess, and took me 4. I'm not complaining because it was a nice surprise. But in my opinion, in this, closers weren't as important, I don't think. So I shouldn't have went as high. And at the same time, I was probably not the best closer.
Like I don't know who's closer, so I cannot really compare you to others.
I think the best one right now is one of them is whoever Vancouver has. I don't even remember his name.
Ovechkin?
Yeah, Ovechkin. I don't even know who that
Alexander Ovechkin and Slolos. Your username is Slolos. That's a first-time sim user.
Okay, yeah. So he's been up there so far, and then Joe's Penny Cowers.
Yeah, that's true.
Play on
Joe
Kenny
also...
Powers. I love the name, but yeah, he's been up there. He was taken round 8, so and Ovechkin was round 9. So our closer, because I'm not playing as closer, is round 9. So I think that's probably about where I should have been.
Okay. For me, I knew I was going there. The only surprise for me that could have happened is going first, but they decided to go with Lalac, which is not a bad choice as like either. But I know I would not have fallen like lower than 3, so I had actually like long discussion with IMSLM. Yeah, I don't even pronounce his name because it's complicated. It's
I thought it was I Am Slim, but
yeah,
I
I
don't know.
am Slim. Well, I do pronounce it as I am SLM, so but it could be I am Slim.
I have
Like,
no idea.
because it is SLM, but after that, how do you pronounce it? Do you say the letters or the like Slim, like you said?
Yeah.
So that's another one that I have no clue how the name is actually pronounced. Which is the case for a lot of users actually when you think about it. Like as soon as you have a name that's like kind of out of the box, is like I have no clue how you pronounce your name. But yeah, so I had like lengthy discussion with him before the draft. I didn't help with anything with the draft, so everyone else in my team is actually like they decide to have them. The only thing I know we wanted to try to do is to get Zercap on the team, which we managed to. And after that, I had no clue what they wanted. So I knew I was going 3. Um, else, I think I would have maybe got like fallen to the crabs. But after that, it's like there was no real surprise about it. All right.
Yeah.
And last question of the podcast is who are some of the players that you think will do well? Um, well, I know a lot of the Vancouver players are actually like already doing well. Uh,
Yeah.
we have Hernandez actually at the top of many leaderboard. When you look at the stats, um, there are some players that are surprisingly low for Vancouver that I was expecting to be higher, like BGO, which is Colby's players. But I mean, we've been 14 games in the sim, so I'm not too worried right now.
Yeah.
Except of that, I'm pretty sure that all the big TP earners so far, like whoever Zadak Pink player is, Bobby Schmur, I think, will be doing good. While Julian O'Sullivan, Yu Josu will be probably doing good. And after that, it's just gonna have to see how it goes. Like many of those who went with home run early in the league will be doing good. Phelps did, Goonie did, and I have no clue who this player is. Vincent Grammatica.
That's Jiggly.
That's Jiggly? Yeah. So another home runner. As well as for pitcher, well, Lalok, my player, and whoever gonna have the best defensive crew will dominate the season.
Yeah. I think it's just going to depend on TPE for the most part. You're going to have some weird ones in there, but like you said, Hernandez, Phelps, and Justice both are going to just be TPE machines, and they're both up there right now in a lot of the different the stats and stuff like that. Biggio's actually on there, or Biggio. I think it's Biggio.
Yeah, he's only in run bat in. Like,
yeah, but RBIs are an important one. He's actually 4th on slugging percentage. And up there in walks as well. So it's impressive that he's leading RBIs when he's getting walked a bunch.
That's actually true.
As far as pitchers, I think Lalak and you are going to be up there, both going to be high TPE earners. I think Joe's a TPE horse, so you're going to see Penny Cowers up there for a while.
Yeah, as a closer.
Yeah. I think those would be my picks. A lot of the GM's players, because they're going to have money to buy equipment, and they
GMs
understand
well.
a lot of it.
Well,
yeah.
Woozy will be good as well, because it's Woozy. So he's going to be a TP earner as well.
Yeah, for
Except
sure.
of that, I don't have any other name that I know.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else really. I mean, there's gonna be surprises there, for sure. But who knows who they'll be? Probably not me. Um,
And like a lot of it will also like we're looking at batting stats right now. So defensive stat will also be important down the road. But I don't want to go look in the index.
yeah.
Like you would have to go to, like look every player because a good defensive player like is pretty good as well.
Yeah, I agree. We'll just see how it goes.
It's early in the season. We're gonna be able to answer better, in my opinion, in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we should be around middle of the season, I would say, if not a bit later. So that's actually gonna be a lot more stats that are average that are like more consistent with what we should expect. Alright, so that was all.
Yep.
That's all the question, and we want to thank you guys to ask those questions. This is question are our bread and butter. We'll be honest, we do that on SHL. We have a few like question asker that we love, like Clint. Uh, so feel free to ask more questions for the next podcast as well.
Yep, and we will see y'all in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, and thanks for the questions.
Yes, have a good weekend, everyone, and a good rest of the season.